All right, we're starting today with this little self-starter. It says quiz, but it's really a starter. Those of you here in class have the back of it, which you don't need to do yet because it's not something we've learned yet. So just work on the front and then we'll go through it together here in a few minutes. Okay, we are ready to check our answers on the starter together. So I'm just going to go through. I'm going to show some of my work and do the answers. Unless I can find the answer key here and just write them in. There we go. So what I'm thinking is I'll just start out by giving you answers, and then we can go through and ask questions about how I found those answers, if there's any questions. Okay. So the vertex is at 1, -4. The axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Don't ever just write a 1. Don't actually just write the x value. Make sure you write it as an equation. X equals the number of the x value, because otherwise it doesn't give us enough information to know which direction it goes. You should never assume that whoever's correcting your paper is going to assume that you know exactly. Okay, our x-intercepts would be at 3, 0, -1, 0. Our y-intercept is going to be at 0, -3. Our domain is all real numbers. The range goes from the bottom point of the vertex, which is at -4, and goes to infinity. Usually I'll actually graph it before I do the range, because then I can see visually what the range is. I'm just going down through and writing down the answers off my paper. It would also be okay to list the range in this format right here. Range will be y. Sorry. Y is greater than or equal to -1. That would be another way to write that. Okay. Interval for where x is increasing. So now we're pulling in some of the stuff we did first chapter. So I really am going to draw the graph at this point before I write these down. So my vertex at 1, -4. 4.0. Got my x-intercepts at 3, 0, and -1, 0. Got my y-intercept at -3. So here's what my parabola looks like. So it's increasing from the x value of the vertex to infinity, right? So the x value of the vertex is at 1. And remember, when you list intervals for increasing and decreasing, you don't ever do brackets. It's always just parentheses. And it's just the range of values where the graph is going upward, or the range of values where the graph is going upward. There's no like included or not included. So for decreasing, it would be from -infinity to that x value of the vertex at 1. And then there's our graph. You could sketch in the axis of symmetry if you wanted to. Okay. Anyway, any specific questions about this? Parts you got stuck on that you'd like a little help? Getting it what? Well, that's how I did this. I just gave you all the numbers. I just didn't show you how I did it. Okay, algebraically. So you can either complete the square, or like I recommended last time, you can just use our little formula. X equals -b/2a. So here's our equation, is like 1x squared, that's a, minus 2x, that's b, minus 3, that's c. So we do -2 over 2 times 1. I'm just plugging in the 1 for a and the -2 for b. So now I simplify that and I get +2 divided by +2, which is 1. So there's the x value. value of my vertex. So now to find the y value, or k, so this is h. To find the y value, or k, we actually just plug it in. So we're going to plug this in here, plug it in there, there, and there. So that gives us 1 times 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. So that's 1 minus 2 minus 3. So 1 minus 5, which is negative 4. So those are k values. So we have x is 1, and this is basically y is negative 4. So that's our h and k for our vertex. 1, negative 4. And so I've got the vertex right there. Okay. So there's some algebra for finding the vertex, and then the axis of symmetry is just based on that. The range is based on that. The interval for increasing and decreasing is based on that. The graph has, that's the important point on the graph. Okay, so then I'm guessing we also want to go over x-intercepts. No? You know how to do the x-intercepts? So this is for finding the vertex. This little instruction here. Find the vertex. That's what we just did. Okay, so now if we do the intercepts, we would take our function x squared minus 2x minus 3, factor it into x minus 3 and x plus 1, and then set those factors equal to 0, right? So x minus 3 equals 0 means x equals 3, and x plus 1 equals 0 means x equals negative 1. So there's our x-intercepts, but I wrote them as points, 3, 0, negative 1, 0. The x values, the x-intercepts are where the y values are 0. And the y-intercept is easy. All you have to do is plug in 0. It's just that constant. So 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Just the constant at the end of our general form. Right. There's one question I didn't ask on here that maybe wouldn't be a bad idea to have you write down. And that is the vertex form. So if the vertex is at 1, negative 4, that would be x minus 1 squared minus 4. That's what it would look like if we actually wrote that in standard form, right? And even though I didn't do the problem by completing the square, I can see what the vertex form is from the vertex. I just put it back into them.